Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Our coverage tonight begins in southern Nigeria as we continue to monitor development from the tragic incident in Ibadan, Oyo State. The State Police Command has arrested the ex-queen of the Oni of Ife, Naomi Shilekunla, and 7 others in connection with a deadly stampede at a fun fair in Ibadan on Wednesday. The incident held at the Islamic High School, Bassa. It claimed the lives of 35 children, with 6 others critically injured. A police spokesperson confirmed the event, organized by Wings Foundation in collaboration with Agidigbo FM. It exceeded its 5,000 capacity, drawing over 7,500 attendees. The arrested individuals include the event's sponsor, the ex-queen, and the school's principal. The police have launched a homicide investigation, assuring residents of justice while increasing patrols to maintain security in the area. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the tragic stampede at the children's fun fair in Ibadan, which claimed the lives of several children and left others injured. In a statement, the president extended heartfelt condolences to the Oyo State government and the grieving families, offering prayers for the souls of the departed. President Tinubu has ordered a thorough investigation into the incident, emphasizing the need to determine if negligence or deliberate actions were involved. He urged the Oyo State government to review safety measures for public events, enforce regulations, and conduct regular venue audits to prevent future tragedies. The president stressed that the safety of children must remain a top priority at all public gatherings. Let's head on now to the northern part of the country, where a bomb explosion in the Bassa community of Shiroro local government area of Niger State has left 1 person dead and 4 others injured. Eyewitnesses say the blast occurred Thursday morning as the victims were heading to their farms. Ahmed Al-Mustafa, a local resident, confirmed that 3 of the injured lost their legs and are currently being treated at the IBB Specialist Hospital. Al-Mustafa, who is related to 3 of the victims, revealed that this marked the second bomb explosion in Bassa this month. The community is calling for increased security measures to prevent further tragedies as residents remain on edge. Authorities are yet to issue an official statement. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja has granted the immediate past Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello bail in a sum of 500 million naira and 3 shorties. The trial judge, Justice Marianne Anene, made the pronouncement after listening to the fresh bail application brought before the court following the court's refusal to grant Bello bail at the last sitting. Bello, alongside 2 others, Umar Oricha and Abdusalami Kudu, are facing trial on 16 counts preferred against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, bordering on criminal breach of trust and money laundering to the tune of 110.4 billion naira. The court, however, granted the second and third defendants bail in a sum of 300 million naira with 2 shorties alongside other conditions. Further reading out the conditions for Bello's bail, the judge held that the shorties must be responsible citizens who are landowners in any of the listed areas in Abuja, Maitama, Guzape, Apo, Musetu, and Asokoro. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a look at the development in Ibadan. Yesterday, the figure was 32 dead. Today, that number has gone up by 3, and that's 35 now. For some perspective on the legal issues around this matter, we're joined by lawyer Justice Tochukwu. He's a legal practitioner with Hope Behind Bars Africa. He joins us from Abuja. Thank you very much. It's a very sad story, really. 35 children, and we understand 6 of them are critically injured. How can the justice system ensure that those responsible are held accountable for their actions?
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful question. Sincerely apologize, I was having network issue earlier. So, well, very importantly, these are children, these are humans, of course. They are not just, we don't just say because they are children and we want to just sweep that under the carpet. They are children and they are humans. And of course, the 1999 Constitution, the fundamental rights, they are entitled to the fundamental rights as enshrined in Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution. And then when you look at ways to, like you earlier pointed out, how the justice system can ensure that those who are responsible are held accountable. Now we must talk about a thorough investigation. A thorough investigation in the sense that the deed has been done, the very terrible mishap has happened, and of course we have the casualties and the number keep piling up. But then the thorough investigation must be carried out to ensure that those who probably didn't do their homework very well are brought to book, and of course, justice is done. And then when you look at the legal system, the Nigerian legal framework rather, we must ensure that, like we always know, that justice is a three-way traffic. The one for the society, one for the deceased, of course, the persons who are affected, and one for the common man out there. It should be seen that not just that the matter is just handled with kid glove, but rather that these persons, like I earlier said, who probably didn't do their homework very well, are brought to book and are made to answer their act of negligence.
Let's talk about child safety and protection. From what we've seen of this event, what measures do you think can be enhanced for the protection of children at public events, and perhaps maybe informed regulatory framework for those who organize these events?
Thank you very much for that question. I believe, very importantly, that institutions in the particular state should wake up. We shouldn't always approach issues more like a fire brigade approach. We should rather set up preventive measures to avoid mishap like this. And now we talk about institutions like the Niger State Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism. They should also play a role, apart from inviting the police to ensure that there is security and the safety of the invited guests or the children at the event. These people should also ensure that modalities or measures are put in place to ensure that such kind of issue or this kind of negative issue that occurred does not repeat itself. So, like I earlier said, the Oyo State Ministry should also ensure that they go there, make a kind of an analysis to ensure that the place is safe enough. You know, one thing that causes stampede is when there is crowd density, and then there's fear, of course, and then excitement, and probably where there's poor crowd management. We have an institution, of course, in every state, Oyo to particular, that should oversee that wherever there is a crowd gathering like this, measures are taken to ensure that any form of stampede does not happen. Like the one that happened.
Let's also zero in on the role of government and civil societies. How should the government and civil societies and the media as well, what role can they play in promoting child safety and preventing such incidents?
So their roles are more like intertwined. Of course, they're intertwined. You know, of course, the government has a role to play by making sure that they pass bills or laws, the legislation that are child-friendly. And of course, we have the Child Rights Act, I understand, but more can be done, even though I believe that it is not the issue of inadequacy of law that we have in Nigeria, but rather the inadequacy of implementing these laws. So legislation, of course, should be looked into and ensure that some loopholes are quickly covered up so that things like this does not happen. Then we talk about training. Training is very important. People who go whenever there's a crowd like this, people should be well trained. And then dissemination of information. It is very important. Now, if you look at what happened in Oyo State, 5,000 persons were supposed to be there. The event was supposed to take 5,000 persons. But rather, over 7,000 plus people came for that event, and then it led to this terrible event that happened. Now, information, very key. If this information are really disseminated to the public that, oh, these are the people that we want them to be present at the occasion. And then security persons, I'm a protocol person. It is very important to note that protocol is key in when it comes to crowd management. Very key.
I think knowing and implementing are two different things. I think that's where the challenge is, implementing some of these knowledge to protect the rights of the child. Thank you very much, Augustus, for speaking with us.
Thank you, too.
We're on a short break. The news continues right after. Just stay with us. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. Police arrest Oni's ex-wife, others as death toll hits 35 in oil stampede. 1 killed, 4 injured as explosion hits Bassa community in Niger State. Senate passes 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget for second reading. And Guinean court jails ex-defense minister Mohamed Diane for corruption. Thank you for staying with us. The 2025 budget proposal of 49.7 trillion naira has passed the second reading in both chambers of the National Assembly. This comes a day after President Bola Tinubu presented the budget to a joint session of Parliament, with lawmakers commending the president for allocating more resources to key sectors of the economy. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this.
The House of Representatives, where members of both the House and the Senate are duly seated. Also in attendance are members of the Federal Executive Council and several high-ranking officials of the presidency. The session began with the opening remarks from the President of the Senate, commending current efforts in addressing insecurity and attracting direct foreign investment, amongst others.
The reduction in kidnapping incidents and the neutralization of over thousands of terrorists and insurgents remain another major testament to your patriotic zeal, your strength, and your determination to change the future of this country. Your dedication to fostering international relations paves the way for fruitful partnerships that will propel our nation forward. We are witnessing a resurgence in foreign direct investment.
However, he expressed concern about some of his colleagues' misunderstanding of the tax reform bill currently before the Parliament, noting that those opposing the reforms may not have studied the proposal adequately.
It is dissatisfying.
Reacting to the budget, some Nigerians have called on President Bola Tinubu to ensure transparency and accountability during the implementation of the nation's 2025 budget when approved. This was in the nation's capital, Abuja, as some citizens spoke to News Central, calling on the president to ensure funds allocated to key sectors and specific projects are judiciously used. Our correspondent, Joshua Imarai, reports.
Nigeria's 2025 budget, dubbed the Budget of Restoration, was presented by President Bola Tinubu before a joint session of Parliament. Now that the estimates have been made public, citizens have begun to react following allocations made to different sectors. For one individual like Richard Christopher, the allocation of 4.91 trillion naira to defense raises concerns as he believes Nigeria has spent heavily on defense in the last few years.
By now, we shouldn't be talking about security all the time. We shouldn't be talking about, so where are all those money going through? You know, every year, year in, year out, we usually see budgets, money being allocated to security, the defense, the police. What are they using the money for?
We have been putting money in defense, and then there are still a lot of insecurity issues. Now, education usually used to top in Nigeria's budget, yes. But recently, I've seen the decline. Maybe looking at it that, yeah, the government might have seen that they probably have done a few things, but it's not yielding results. That's the truth.
Another resident of the capital, Bali Arabu, a medical practitioner, thinks that the allocation for health in the budget is inadequate, given the current state of healthcare in the country.
I think it's a problem with the rate of doctors and health workers leaving the country. I think this is a huge problem. We should invest more in the health sector in order to create more incentive for health workers to stay back.
Others have called on government to ensure timely release of funds after the budget approval to ensure the effective budget implementation.
Part of the budget, I'm sure inflation has taken most of the budget. So the issue will be the releasing of these funds for this project to some of the big ambitious projects that the president has planned that will happen within next year. So I think my major issue with the budget is not how big it is, but as will the funds be released as and when due.
As the 2025 appropriation bill has passed its second reading in Parliament, Nigerians are hopeful to facilitate the development of a safer and more prosperous nation. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Many thanks, Joshua. Let's discuss this with the help of a senior researcher and policy analyst, Budget Foundation, Vayala Kwaga. Vayala, thank you for giving us your time. Given the amounts budgeted for 2025, how are critical sectors of the economy, like infrastructure, education, healthcare, and agriculture, faring in terms of allocations? Are these allocations also sufficient to address the existing challenges and perhaps promote growth in these sectors?
Thank you so much for having me. It would be challenging to conclude if the funds are sufficient because the problems are more or less legacy issues. And it's concerning that we may not even necessarily have properly articulated the problems as they exist. So what truly is the extent of hardship, of damage, of deficit in the agricultural industry? For instance, looking at crop production, what are the logistical problems that have been legacy issues, for maybe 2-3 fiscal years back? What are the problems with livestock development and the movement of agricultural goods, of livestock, from one point of the country to another? And this can apply to other aspects or key sectors, like the...
Okay, I think we lost our guest. We apologize for that network. Okay, Viola, if you can hear me, can you confirm?
Still hear me?
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and ask you the second question I have here. One major issue has been revenue generation and sustainability. We know that 34.82 trillion naira has been projected as revenue. How realistic is this target?
I mean, the target is extremely ambitious, and you can give some credit to at least to the last fiscal year. There was some decent amount of revenue raised in terms of companies' income tax and value-added tax. I think as at August, the federal government had achieved somewhere close to 60 to 70%, but it's also still very concerning that oil revenue is not doing as well as it should. And then, of course, federal government independent revenue, which is meant to serve as, the significant amount of total revenue. And, we also have to consider the aspect of the government-owned enterprises that are meant to fetch, again, significant amounts of revenue for the federal government. Unfortunately, the regime upon which they are being handled and administered is not particularly clear. It is not transparent. And, we thought we would see the budgets of the government-owned enterprises in the 2023 Appropriation Act. Unfortunately, we only saw them in the proposal. We hope that, this time things will be different, and the budgets of government-owned enterprises will be presented, will be represented in the Appropriation Act when it is passed by the president. And we'll all know just how much is being brought in and how much is being expended on these government-owned enterprises that are significant revenue earners for the government.
All right, Vayala, thank you very much for speaking with us. And now to politics. Some political stakeholders in Kano, the Kano state capital, have begun moves to rally the electorate to support less popular and less financially endowed candidates ahead of the 2027 elections. The group says that this will encourage voter turnout, eliminate voter apathy, and strengthen the nation's democratic and electoral processes. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
State in Nigeria with a voting population of 5 million registered voters. However, voter turnout on election days have always seen a little over 3 million voters coming out to exercise their franchise. Some politicians have blamed the waning popularity of political parties for this, proposing an alternative movement to change the status quo.
You are calling them Muslim.
Popular politician Segun Shewumi is assuring the electorate in Kano in this town hall meeting that their new movement will amplify new independent candidates to make the 2027 election more competitive and create opportunities for less financially endowed candidates to contest the polls.
Why would a nation have about 93 registered voters and less than 9 million will install a president? It's not a problem that the man won. The problem is what were the others doing on the day of the election. Now, in case you thought that the election of the president was not the most important for them, with the exception of Kano, even all the other states during their state elections, you don't see them turn up. And you know it's quite expensive for them to give them the PVC, and they collect the PVC for free. What then will be the reason why they're not even available to use it? First problem. Is it that they are frustrated and unhappy with governance or with the democracy? We thought we need to re-engage them. If we have been bringing you leaders and they've not satisfied you, we have come to tell them that the alternative ways now is that go and find us the leaders you want and bring them to us so that we can then push them forward. Maybe you will be satisfied. Then we've also thought about the fact that the whole concept of the recruiting model for political parties to throw up good leaders is beginning to become injured, because it seems like instead of the parties to be ideologically based, they are now a cult of human personality.
Some of those present say they will key into the new movement.
This is about us entirely. It's not about a single person. It's not about Jafar Sani Bello. It's not about Segun Shehu Mimo. It's not about anybody, but it's about us.
We are calling on His Excellency Peter Obi, Dr. Rabi Musa Konkoso, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to look at the alternative as the coalition platform.
With barely 11 days to the year 2025, it is anticipated that more political activities and initiatives will continue ahead of the 2027 general elections. In Kano for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Staying with politics, the need not to allow Nigeria become a one-party state has been re-echoed in an exclusive interview on Plus Politics HQ with News Central. Badebo Rhodes Rival, the Labour Party's governorship candidate in Lagos, sounded the alarm over Nigeria's democratic future. He warned that the country is at risk of becoming a one-party state, pointing to recent events such as the National Assembly's reaction during the president's budget presentation, while the federal lawmakers were seen reciting an anthem tagged "On Your Mandate, We Shall Stand," a song meant for core loyalists of President Bola Tinubu.
There's a type of politics that creates these dynamics that we're seeing. There's a politics of the political elite and their peers, and what is good for them is good for them. To hell with the rest of Nigeria. And that's what you saw yesterday. Because I don't imagine a Bukola Saraki as Senate president and that kind of thing would have happened in the Senate, right? Where is their respect? Where is their sense of self-respect? Where is their sense of identity? Where is their sense of representing a group of people that send them there? How are they holding this government accountable, right? These are the questions. But you see, again, goes back to the process by which people get into office. And then also, when you don't have strong, courageous people in a state assembly, you find that the majority, the culture of the majority just completely encapsulates
those that are there. I think that a Senate that would allow something like that happen, I mean, politics is over. Campaigns are over. Your job is to hold the president accountable. It's not to be singing his song. Then what's the point of having a Senate? Might as well not have a Senate. Let's scrap the Senate. If the president is just going to come and you're going to be singing for him, when your job is to make the needs of your people known and hold the president accountable and be that stopgap between the people and the president, because outside of them is the judiciary, and for judiciary, someone has to take the president to court, and the president is immune. He has immunity. So you, the Senate, are supposed to be able to stand and look for the interests of the people. And if you are not able to do that, then what's the point of having you there? You're useless. There's no point.
In an effort to bolster security measures across the state, the Lagos State government has provided 260 security vehicles and various other security equipment to the Lagos State Police Command. During the 18th annual town hall meeting on security held in Lagos, themed Data and Tech-Driven Security, the Way Forward, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu believes this initiative, along with others in development, will transcend borders, fostering a safer environment for both residents and visitors of Lagos alike. News Centre's Igbalani Omoni was there and filed in this report.
In a display of commitment to public safety, the 18th annual town hall meeting on security convened in Lagos, bringing together captains of industries, religious leaders, traditional leaders, security stakeholders, top government functionaries and business leaders. The event themed Data and Tech-Driven Security, the Way Forward, underscored the state's unwavering dedication to leveraging technology and data to fortify security measures. Hosted by the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, the event served as a platform to showcase invaluable support in bolstering security initiatives across the state.
From cyber threats to physical security risks, the old ways of managing these challenges are no longer good enough. The solution, we believe, lies in harnessing the power of data and technology.
The Lagos State Police Command seized the opportunity to unveil its comprehensive plans and efforts in curbing crime.
We arrested 343 armed robbers. We have charged to court 327 kidnapping. We recorded 15 celebrated kidnap cases, and 71 of those kidnappers were arrested and sent to court. Cases of cultism. We have 93 cases reported, arrested 270 cultists, while 225 were prosecuted after due profiling. Stolen vehicles recorded 92, and we recovered 103. Cases of rape and defilement, we have 105. Thousands of people flock into the state every day, and this also has its implication for security in the state. It makes it imperative for the police in the state to continue to adapt and strengthen security strategies to meet up with the challenges.
In his address, the governor outlined a series of ambitious plans to further strengthen security measures within the state.
Almost 500 high-definition cameras have been installed in different parts of the state, of the city, in which we can monitor almost 350 streets and regions at our command and control center, where 24-hour surveillance are being deployed, and we can see things real time, with the deployment of this enhanced surveillance network. The plan is to wrap up this to about 2,000 very quickly, and that in another phase is ongoing. Smart technology are being deployed with our traffic managers, Mrs. Lasma. They are going to be having handheld technology where they don't need to be running after traffic offenders or people that they need to arrest. We now have number plate readers on the CCTV cameras, and we can come back, and charge you that indeed You have flouted either a traffic regulation.
The highlight of the event was the presentation of 260 security vehicles, ballistic crash helmets and bulletproof vests by the governor to the Lagos Police Command. Stakeholders say the annual town hall meeting stands as a testament to Lagos State's unwavering dedication to creating a secure and thriving environment for its residents and businesses to flourish. In Lagos 4 News Central, I am Igbalani Omani.
The news continues in West Africa, where a court in Guinea has sentenced a former defense minister, Mohamed Diane, to 5 years in prison for corruption, illicit enrichment, embezzlement, and money laundering. Diane served as defense minister between 2015 and 2021 under President Alpha Condé before the army seized power. He was also ordered to pay a $58.5 million fine, while his bank accounts and property in the capital Conakry and the eastern city of Kankan will be confiscated by the state. The judge said the assets were to be seized as their origin could not be justified. Diane has been in detention since May 2022, when the military junta launched a campaign against corruption in the country. The Nigerian government has taken a significant step to reduce the price of cooking gas by removing import duties and VAT on liquefied natural gas. This move aligns with President Bola Tinubu's push for cleaner energy and increased domestic gas use, offering relief to Nigerians amid rising energy costs. Lekon Onobanjo has more details on this and other business stories tonight.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
The Nigerian government, via the Nigeria Customs Service, has disclosed that importing liquefied natural gas or cooking gas are now exempt from import duty and value-added tax. The development comes as the Customs Service said that all debit notes given to petroleum marketers who imported cooking gas from August 26, 2019 will be withdrawn in line with previous approvals. The Customs disclosed this in a statement signed by its National Public Relations Officer, Abdullahi Mewada. Mewada noted that in line with President Bola Tinubu's promise to boost Nigeria's investment in clean energy and increase domestic gas use, the Customs will implement fiscal incentives under the Presidential Gas for Growth initiative. Interventionist payment in the power sector by the federal government was inadequate as electricity subsidies increased to 199.64 billion naira in December 2024, according to data sourced from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. These payments were made amid worries over incidences of recurrent grid collapse and epileptic power supply across the country by most electricity consumers. According to the newly released report by the regulator, December 2024 multi-year tariff order, electricity subsidies rose by 2.76% to 199.64 billion naira this month from 194.26 billion naira in November. NERC explained that the rise in the exchange rate, which it pegged at 1,687 naira 45 kobo to a dollar, the increase in inflation to 33.9%, and changes in available generation capacity necessitated the minor review. The African Development Bank says African countries, including Nigeria, have collaborated to establish a continental credit rating agency to counterbalance Western credit rating agencies' bias against Africa. Kevin Rama, Vice President and Chief Economist, Economic Governance and Knowledge Management at AFDB Group, made this known at the launch of the Debt Management Forum for Africa, organized by the bank in Abuja. S&P Global Ratings, Fitch Ratings, and Moody's are top 3 global credit rating agencies. Speaking at the event, Rama said the proposed African credit rating agency would address the prejudice against the continent. Finally, ESCOM has posted a major pre-tax loss for the 2023-2024 financial year of more than 25 billion rand. It shared its financial results at its Megawatt Park headquarters on Thursday, more than 3 months late. In part, it is blaming ongoing corruption within the organization for the delay, in particular suspected collusion involving staff and its prepaid vending system. The steep loss was also anticipated after the utility implemented record power outages caused by failures at poorly maintained generating facilities. However, ESCOM executives have been quick to look at the future, saying it expects to finally make an after-tax profit of 10 billion rand at the end of the current financial year in March 2025. Many thanks for watching the Business News. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
And in sports, the Nigerian women's under-17 national team defeated Benin Republic 2-0 in a semi-final clash at the ongoing WAFU Zone B under-17 Women's Championships earlier today. The team will now face host Ghana in the final of the tournament on Sunday. More on sports, here is Okwe Adibari.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Hello and welcome to Sports News. The chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, and the Minister of Education, Dr. Morufu Olatunji Alausa, held a strategic meeting on Thursday aimed at revitalizing grassroots sports through school programs. Their discussions focused on fostering talent development and leveraging sports as a catalyst for national growth. Diko emphasized the critical role of school sports in nurturing talent. Key initiatives include establishing sports centers of excellence with at least one tertiary institution per geopolitical zone and one unity school per state designated as hubs for advanced training, scholarships, and modern facilities. Primary and secondary schools will also integrate into grassroots programs, collaborating with state and local governments to institutionalize a nationwide sports development system. The Friedkin Group has completed its takeover of Everton, ending the turbulent tenure of Fahad Moshiri. The deal for 99.5% of the club is believed to be worth in excess of £400 million, and the Toffees become the 10th club in the Premier League under majority American control. The group reached an agreement with Moshiri on 23rd September and were awaiting regulatory approval, with the Premier League having the final say on the deal, and this has now been granted. The Texas-based group is led by chairman Dan Friedkin and also owns Italian Serie A club AS Roma. According to Forbes, Friedkin Group has a net worth of £6.16 billion. Friedkin has been proposed as the chairman of Everton's board, with Mark Watts serving as executive chairman responsible for the management of the club. Premier League strugglers Wolverhampton Wanderers have appointed former FC Porto boss Vitor Pereira as their new head coach. The experienced Portuguese manager joins from Saudi Pro League side Al Shabab on an 18-month contract, with Wolves paying about £825,000 in compensation. He replaces Gary O'Neill, who was sacked on Sunday following Saturday's 2-1 defeat to Ipswich, which left Wolves second bottom of the Premier League. Pereira took charge of training for the first time today, and his opening game is Sunday's trip to Leicester, who are 17th in the table and 5 points clear of Wolves. Wolves had been assessing their options for a number of weeks and sounded out candidates, including former West Ham manager David Moyes. Pereira quickly became the frontrunner and joins, having won Primera Liga titles with Porto in 2012 and 2013 and the Greek Super League with Olympiacos in 2015. A Paris court today convicted the brother of French international footballer Paul Pogba and 5 others for attempting to extort the World Cup winner. Matthias Pogba received a 3-year sentence, with 2 of them suspended after being found guilty of organized extortion and attempted extortion. He will not serve time behind bars, but must wear an electronic bracelet for a year. The other 5 defendants, some of them childhood friends, were handed sentences ranging from 3 to 8 years. Paul Pogba, who played for English club Manchester United and Italy's Juventus, said he had been the target of extortion in March 2022 and that he had handed over €100,000 to those who had threatened him. Mbeko Tabula, a lawyer for Matthias Pogba, was quoted as saying his client was in shock and would appeal.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Tonight on Entertainment News, Nigerian dancer Lil Smart has filed a petition against Malian Records boss Naira Marley and singer Zinoliski, accusing them of threatening his life. On December 9th, 2024, Lil Smart took to social media to raise the alarm, claiming he was being threatened. He urged the public to hold Naira Marley and Zinoliski accountable if anything were to happen to him, sharing unsettling videos and photos that allegedly showed Zinoliski and others chasing him. In response, Zinoliski denied the accusations, alleging that Lil Smart was chasing clout. However, in a viral Instagram post, Lil Smart revealed that he has officially submitted a petition to the authorities and is now waiting for justice through the legal system. He also shared that he had been subjected to bullying by the duo in the past, but lacked enough evidence to take legal actions. This isn't the first time or the third time I've experienced this bullying, Lil Smart said, but I didn't have enough evidence to go to the law. Now I thank God that I have solid proof, and I'll do everything in my power to stop this bullying and threat to my life. With the evidence I have, I hope they are not too powerful to be held accountable. I've submitted my petition and evidence to the authorities, and by God's grace, the law will ensure I get the justice I deserve. Naira Marley is yet to respond to the allegations. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments on January 10th regarding a law that could lead to the banning of TikTok in the United States due to the national security concerns linked to its Chinese ownership by ByteDance. The law mandates that ByteDance must divest its stake in TikTok by January 19th or face a nationwide ban. This potential ban would affect over 150 million American users and disrupt the businesses of creators who rely on the platform for income and engagement. The Biden administration argues that TikTok's ties with China pose risk of user data being accessed by the Chinese government, while critics contend that banning the app would violate First Amendment rights, particularly for users and creators who view the platform as an important space for expression. The legal battle has sparked a polarized public debate, with some Americans supporting the ban due to security concerns, while others see it as an overreach that undermines personal freedoms. The case also raised critical questions about the extent of government power over private platforms and whether a ban could violate constitutional protections. With bipartisan support for both sides of the argument in Congress, the outcome could have significant economic implications, especially for small businesses and independent creators who rely on TikTok for monetization. A decision in this case could set a precedent for how the U.S. government regulates foreign-owned digital platforms in the future. That's all on Entertainment Tonight.
It is the 2024 Miss Nigeria Beauty Pageant. That's Yemi Alade performing.
Our beautiful queens. The moment that we have all gathered together here. I mean, I tried to do it, but I think I have a few more inches than I need. So if you know this beautiful song that I'm about to sing, sing along. Do I have the go-ahead? If it's okay to go ahead, I will go ahead. Are our beautiful queens ready? Am I getting a go ahead? Is that a yes? C'est bon, allez-y, allez-y, tout le monde. Let's go. Yeah, sorry, no vex.
Interrupt the beautiful melodies just to wrap up the news and take you back there. So just a quick reminder of some of the headlines. Police arrest Oni's ex-wife. Others as death toll hits 35 in Oyo stampede. 1 killed, 4 injured as explosion hits Bassa community in Niger State. Senate passes 49.7 trillion naira 2025 budget for second reading. Also brought to news that Guinean court has jailed ex-defense minister Mohamed Diane for corruption. You can catch up on all our latest news by watching News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Abo TV and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Have a good night and enjoy the show.